Finsweet, agency, product, community. That's effing sweet.
Hey, hello everyone. Welcome back to another Friday technical live stream. I'm excited. Today we're doing some cool things and I'm already seeing some comments about people excited for this. So welcome everyone. Appreciate all of you coming here, either if you're watching it live or if you're coming in the future. But before jumping into it, I'm gonna wait for a few minutes until everyone joins. So let's just say hello in the comments. Anybody who wants to just throw some love here to the community or to me, just feel free to do it. And in a few minutes, we'll start. Okay. Hey, oh my God, the first name is already so hard to pronounce. No, Noridin. I'm probably butchering your name. I'm so sorry. Hi, thank you for coming. Hey, Dimitri, it's good to see you. Hey, Exadam, Brad, thank you for coming. Hey, Pablo. Hey, Fred. And hey, another Dimitri. Nice. Fred is saying, all right, it's useful technical stuff day again. I mean, hopefully every day, every Friday, it's technical stuff that it's useful. But the thing is that today, what we're talking about basically applies to like most of the sites. Some Fridays we talk about things that are very niche, very specific, and depending on what you're building, maybe you're not interested in it. But we are web developers, and what we're showing today, it's something that essentially it's a benefit for everyone in the web. So I'm excited. Dimitris, I appreciate your love. Thank you. Okay, nice. 2 more minutes, and then we'll just jump right into it. I don't know how long will today's live streams be, because the nice thing of what we're talking about is that it's pretty simple to use and set up. So it's probably I'll have enough time to talk about it. But I think that it will be nice if you guys can help me during the live stream come up with ideas of ways to use the functionality that we're talking about, because there are thousands and thousands of uses, but I'm a very bad UI UX designer, and I'm very bad at coming up with cool things to build. Can we make it complex? Yeah. We can make it complex. Like if we come up with some proper idea, maybe we can do like a second live stream where we attempt to do something very complex out of it. I'm actually going to start by showing you a very, well, not complex in terms of building it, but in terms of the result. Like it looks very complex. It looks very powerful. But let's wait 1 more minute. I'll always wait until it's 5 minutes past the time to start diving into the matters. Let me say hi to more people. Hey, Harsh, thank you for coming. Hey, Nathan, I appreciate you guys taking some time to come here with me. And didn't say it, but I wish that everyone had a very nice week. It's always Friday, and what I love about Friday is that everyone can tell me how was the week. Usually it's good, but if it's bad, you can always tell me too. Hey, Crispy. Hey, Bill van der Hagen. Hey, thank you for coming. Okay, great. I think that it's time. So let's just jump right into it. So, again, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming. Today, we are talking about one new functionality that um, it's still not available everywhere. So take this live stream as an experimental thing. So we're taking a look into the future, but at least we'll be able to play around with it. Okay, which is the cross-document view transitions for multi-page applications. Okay, and this is actually a pretty big deal. Maybe you've seen in the past. Hey, Glenn, thank you for coming. Maybe you've seen in the past already some native view transitions that are managed by the browser, right? And it's actually something that we did a live stream. I don't know, it was like 4 months ago, somewhere around that. And in that live stream, we already showcased the powers of the native view transitions API, which is an API that just using the browser APIs, so not really requiring some library like gzap or any other animation library, we can do very cool things like this very famous example that we saw a few months ago, where just by transitioning through pages, we were able to just animate things. Like, let me see if there's one more complex example. Yeah, let's see another one. Like this, like when navigating across pages, we were doing these shared transitions. But up until now, the only available API was for same document view transitions. And today we're talking about a new one. It's actually the same API, but it's a different application, and it's for cross document view transitions. And that's a pretty big deal because cross document means that it's across navigations, across different pages. So when you're on one page and you click on a link and you go to another page, the entire page gets destroyed. Then you load a new HTML file with the CSS, with JavaScript, you load everything, and then the browser just, makes the swap, right? In this example of the same document view transitions, this was very not niche, but it was very the way that you would apply it would require still some libraries, because it would require some router, some JavaScript libraries, something that was handling on the same page without leaving that page, loading the next document and then parsing that HTML and injecting it on the same page. And that's what, if you've been using any kind of web application in the last 5 years, you've probably, get used to it. Like, you're navigating, you're doing things that you really never leave the current page. So there's a framework, there's some kind of tool that it's managing this routing of loading the things and injecting them on a page. This was up until now. Cross-document view transitions just simplify things a lot. And by a lot, it means a lot, up to the point that we don't really need JavaScript to do most of the things. Like, there are some things that will need JavaScript, and we'll talk about that today. But we can animate across pages without even touching any line of code, which for Webflow users, you're probably loving that already. This is music for your ears. So let's just start looking at that. Let me see one comment here. Adam, shared transition always remind me of the old Material UI contact book transition. Yeah, well, I mean, this is trying to just get closer to the experience of navigating on mobile apps, right? When you have a mobile, you're just clicking things around. Everything feels very snappy because you get all these cool transitions because everything is on your mobile. You're not really, loading more things aside from the dynamic data. So this is one step forward to converting the web into the, the next level of interactions, same as mobile apps. Let me show you a cool example. This example, I have not built it. This example was built by the AstroJS team. And this example, essentially, it's just a clone of Spotify. The cool thing of this is that there is no JavaScript at all. Okay, even the URL, I'm going to share that. Hold on, let me put that to Gabe, so Gabe can put it here in the chat. This example, it's completely HTML and CSS, no JavaScript. And look at this. If I start clicking around, everything feels so smooth. Look at this. Look at that. What do you think about this? It's so smooth, and there is no JavaScript. There's no library. There's nothing. This is completely native browser. And this is already working, but only, hold on, this is only working for now in Chrome 126 and Edge 126. Yes, that's nice, Pablo. And Rahul, hello, thank you for coming. So just keep in mind, first thing, already blasting it here, browser support, it's still experimental. It's still only available in Chrome. So don't rush to start using that on your sites, although you technically can. Like, if it doesn't work, and that's it. But just keep in mind that it's not going to work in Safari or Mozilla. And Arc, probably, yes, because it's Chromium based. Correct. Okay, nice. So my idea today is to just together walk through these documentation. This is the official documentation by Chrome, where they explain how to start using these API and just how to start customizing your site to be as cool as these Spotify clone by the AstroJS team. Okay, so I've got these fresh, one kind of fresh clone of Climb First. I just did a couple of modifications here with a couple of pages. And I want to start using it. Like, there's no JavaScript, there's no custom CSS, there's nothing. Okay, I'm going to show you. Nothing in the head, nothing in the body. Anywhere, if I go to the custom code, there is nothing anywhere. Okay, so let's start diving into the documentation. By the way, guys, if you have any questions, just drop them here in the chat. I have my phone with the chat open. So I'll try to address all your questions if I know how to answer them. Okay, I'm kind of learning this with you today, but I've got ahead a bit. So cross-document view transitions rely on the very same building blocks as principles as the same document view transitions, which is what we just saw. The browser, but the idea here is that the browser is doing most of the job for us. Okay, so the browser takes snapshots of elements that have a unique view transition name. Okay, and this is important. Okay, we'll see later into the live stream why this is very important on both the old and the new page. And then the DOM gets updated while rendering is suppressed. And finally, the transitions are powered by CSS animations. Okay, so essentially what's going to happen is that we've got here our page. Let's call these page 1. Like that. And we have another page, which is page 2. So the moment that the browser detects that we are trying to navigate from one page to another, the browser will first stop and will take a screenshot of this current page. Okay, so essentially we'll just scan all the page, we'll scan all the elements, the styles, the positioning of everything, and just take a screenshot. And then in the background, it will load the second page. And essentially we'll take another screenshot. And what we'll do is then with these two screenshots, it will kind of overlap them together to identify what are the differences between one and the other. Because if there is some element here that it's the same shared element across in both pages, and we'll see now how we can define elements, so don't worry. If the browser detects that this same element it's on both pages, then the browser will just handle the animation for us. Like, we don't need to do anything. The browser is smart enough now to know how to transition from one element, to one element from one aspect, position, whatever, to another. Okay. So let's just keep going here. What's different when compared with same document view transitions is that cross document view transitions, you don't need to call document view transition. Okay, so in the view, same document view transitions, you need a JavaScript. You needed to make these call this function and pass a callback to it, and essentially it would be the same behavior that would take a screenshot, then it would wait until the page was rendered. So this is when you injected that logic inside the callback, and then it would take the second screenshot. But in this case, it's waiting just for the navigation. Okay. In other words, there's no API to call in order to start a view transition between two documents. However, there are two conditions that you need to fulfill. Okay, that's very important. Both documents need to exist on the same origin. Okay, and this means that if this page is from example.com and this page is from Finsweet.com, this transition is not going to happen. Same origin means same domain and same port. So if, obviously you probably don't deal with ports in your day-to-day, but still there are ports. Usually, depending on if you use HTTPS or HTTP, there are ports, and also there can be custom ports. The thing is that these need to match, even if it's the same domain, even if it's this example.com, but this is from one subdomain, and this is another subdomain, or the main domain itself. These are not matching. So the transitions are not going to happen here. Just keep that in mind. It has to be the exact same origin here. 80, it's probably for HTTP, right? I always forget. Which one is it? Thank you, Verat. Anyways, let's just focus on the domain. Same exact origin. That's important. Okay, and then both pages need to opt in to allow the view transition. So in one page, you opt in for the view transitions, and we'll see now how to opt in. And the other page, let's just see that this is page 1, and this is page 2. But the other page does not opt in for view transitions, then it's not going to work. Just also keep that in mind. So how do we opt in into view transitions? Well, this is what I was explaining about the same origin. Opting in view transitions. Look at that. It's just this. That's it. CSS. 3 lines of code, which can be technically 1 line of code. That's it. So let's just try it out. Let's grab this. I'm going to copy it. And remember that we want to opt in all the pages that are going to be transitioning from and to. So the smartest thing that you can do is just go ahead and put it in the global custom code. This is the custom code that applies to the whole project. CSS is taking our job. So I'm going to come here, head code, or footer code, probably doesn't matter, but let's do head code. Style. And in here, I want to just paste this. Okay, you're probably going to get an error. Don't worry. That's probably because a code mirror, the library that Webflow is using for syntax highlighting, it doesn't recognize this property yet. Don't worry. Okay, so navigation auto. We'll see now because there are different ways of, there are different properties for navigation. Values. But for now, let's just make things automatic. This is now opting in both pages because we are shipping that in the global custom code section. So if we come to our project and we just navigate through the pages, look at that. That's it. And end of the live stream. That's it. Like, I know that you can't see much. Actually, let me change the text so you can see better. This is the home. Yay. And let's do the about page. This is the about page. If we publish this, by default, we'll see now how we can customize things, but by default, the browser will do already a smooth transition. So you can see how the home, the title, and the description are fading with a different text. Look at that. And this is happening natively. One thing to have in mind, and that's what's actually the power of this, and it's that we are leaving the page. Check this out. If you see the button here of the reloading, or you check the tab, you will see how there's a loading that it's pretty fast, but there's a loading. There's the page changing, okay? And that's important. It's different from the same page routing because if on the new page there are libraries, there are anything that needs to be destroyed from one page and initialized on the other one, this simplifies things a lot because you don't need to care about all these things. Actually, yes, powerhouse.js just still, libraries are always going to give you more controls, but most of the use cases for things like powerhouse.js are no longer necessary. This is going to be so sweet for web apps like our Wiz apps. That's correct, Glenn, because this will work out of the box with Wiz. When it was the same page loading, then it was a problem because when destroying the previous page and loading the second page, you were actually never leaving the original page, which means that any script tags, anything that was running on that page was still running. So you had to take care about destroying the old scripts, initializing again, and then if there was any other kind of resource, you had to deal with all of that. But now here we're just loading another page. That's it. Yeah, less third-party code always gonna mean good site speed, of course. So that's it. That's mostly it. Okay. Now these let me zoom out a bit. The same principles that applied to same view transitions also do apply to the cross-page view transitions, which means that if we go back to the original documentation of same document view transitions, we'll see here exactly how the transitions are happening. The way that this happens is that there's a screenshot that the browser is taking, and then the browser inject these pseudo elements that we can then use for styling the way that we animate things. So essentially here, you can see how these pseudo elements, can I zoom in? Yeah. This in here creates this view transition pseudo element, and then there's the view transition group. And this group, it's specific for a view transition that we define. By default, the main view transition group will be the root, and is essentially representing the whole page, the document. Later, in a few minutes, we'll see how we can create another view transitions that represent specific elements on the page. But essentially, it creates this group, and then it creates this image pair where there is the old screenshot of the browser and there is the new screenshot of the browser. And this we can use it in our advantage. So if we go back here, remember that we are dealing with these pseudo states, these pseudo selectors for the old transition and the new transition. So I want to come here. Let's go and just in the global custom code, I want to be a bit more playful. And let's imagine that instead of doing this fade in and fade out native animation, I want to do something like moving things, like moving the whole screen to one side, like, scrolling by a slider type of animation. So let's try to do that. If we come here, let's see. Let's first of all define an animation, and this animation will be a slide to the left, right? I want to take this and move it to the left. So if I do slide to left like this, and I say 2, because I want to go to the left, I'm going to say, hey, I want this animation to move from the current opacity to opacity 0, like that. And also we want to move the whole screen to the side. So let's do translate X, and this is going to be 100 view width, like that. Think that I did it right. And then let's do the same thing, but this is for the page leaving. But then the new page, I want it to come from the right. So I want to create another animation that says, let's do it from scratch, keyframes, slide from right. And these keyframes, I want to do from, again, opacity 0, because I want the new page to have opacity 0 and to come in and translate X from minus 100 view width, like that. By the way, let me just announce here, if you want to learn more about creating CSS animations for Webflow, there's a cool live stream that I did about 2 months ago. Just look in the Finsweet channel, look for something like CSS animations for Webflow. I think that live stream can help you a lot, just doing some publicity here. Okay, so we've got these 2 animations. Okay, so I want to target these 2 states. I want to target the old screenshot, so the old page, to move it to the left, and also I want to target the new page to move it from the right into the view. Okay, so let's just grab this. Actually, I think that for animating, there was a specific selector. No, that's actually it. I'm just copying from the documentation. So let's do this. I want to do a view transition for the root. Remember that this is specific to the whole document, to the root. Okay. And I want this to be an animation. And this animation is going to be, it's the old one. So I want to move it to the left. So it's going to be the slide to left animation. And I want it to take, let's do 200 milliseconds. And let's do please in out. Let's do it cooler. Okay, and then we want to do the same thing, but for the new one. So if we come here, new, then we want this to slide from the right, and I want this to be out in, like that. I think that this is valid. We'll see. Maybe I'm messing up. Guys, I haven't tried this before, but it should work. So let's try it out. Let's see what happens. So we're here. Okay, we're doing some weird things. So definitely did something wrong here. Of course. View transition, alt, the root, slide to left. Let me see if I'm doing the animation right. Slide to left. I actually think that I need to do this. These goes the last thing maybe. Just try it out like that. Transition new from slide from right. Let's just try ease for now. Let's not mess up. Okay, let's try it again. And if not, don't worry, because I have some cheat sheet that I will check. Okay, this is absolutely not working. And I need to understand why. Hold on a second. Hit transition, it is keyframe, slide to left. Oh, about the delay. Let me fix this. Oh my God, yes, thank you. Not transition, but transform. Yeah, I'm here saying that I made a live stream talking about CSS animation, and I just wrote the wrong animations. Okay, I was missing this. And now, Pablo, I will answer your question, which is, but how do you select the delay to allow the animation to happen? What's this? Look at that. Okay, look at that. This is native. And you don't need any delay in this particular case because you want both things to move at the same time, right? You want while the old page is going, did I do it right? Because this is going to the right. I want it to go to the left. So I think I did it the wrong way, but still it's working. But so while the old page is moving, the new page is coming in. So there's really no need for a delay. You want both things to happen at the same time. But if you wanted to add some delay, you can do it. Here in the animation, you could just wait for some specific delay. Go ahead and check my CSS animations. I think that we talked about that. Great. Okay, so we've got this animation for the whole page. And look at that, it's cool, right? Now, imagine that I wanted to do something, more specific to an element. If we go back to these examples from Chrome, nope, not this one. I think that this one. Nope. Let's see another one. Nope. Nope. Come on, give me the right one. I want you to show you the animation. This one. Okay. So this animation that it's happening, just taking one element and instead of moving the whole page, animating between two states of the same element, what we need to do, if we go back here to our drawings, imagine that we've got these, and this is an image, which represents exactly our image. Here and here, let's imagine that my image here, it's a bit smaller, and then the same image on another page, it's bigger, okay? We need to tell the browser, hey, this is the same image, because otherwise the browser doesn't know, and then it will just make the whole global transition for it. So what we need to do is identify this element. And the way that we identify it is by giving it a view transition name, like that. Oops, 1 second, let's make this small, like that. And this view transition name needs to have a specific property. Let's do foo. whatever, okay? And this has to be unique. If there is more than one element on the page that has the same view transition name, shit's gonna break. I'll let you know, because I've tried that in the past and it doesn't work, okay? It has to be unique. So if I come here and also identify this with the same view transition name, what's gonna happen is that the browser will identify this to be the same element and will just handle the transformation, the transition between the two states. They're transforming with image to what a YouTube iframe. Yeah, I think that's possible, actually. So let's just come back here, and here in the home page, let's make this smaller. I've already did that before, okay? So in the home, I want this image to be smaller, and in about, I want the image to be bigger. So if I don't do anything, just to demonstrate what's gonna happen if you don't add an identifier. 1 second. Today it's a bit slower, Webflow publishing. You will see how things just transition the way that they were before. Okay, so the whole page is moving to the side, following the global animation. Now, if we come here and just grab this image, hero image, and I'm just gonna tell it, hey, view transition name, and the custom properties in Webflow actually come very handy because we've got the native way of doing it here in Webflow without having to write custom code, which is cool, right? Let's do hero image like that, okay? So essentially, the hero image element has a view transition of hero image. And if we go to the About page, because it's using the same CSS class, it also has the view transition name equals to hero image, okay? So if I publish this, look at this. Look at that. How cool is that? Essentially, it's doing all the job for me, the whole job. It's just grabbing the image and it's saying, oh, there's the same image. We need to resize it to fit the new position. Let's imagine that instead of resizing it, let's do is small and also is right. And I'm going to move this to the right like that. Super simple. Okay. Again, I'm not changing any animations. I'm not changing anything. So come home and look at that. Now the image is moving from one side to another. Look at that. So cool, right? It's very, very, very cool. Which, if you're already wondering, this is how they achieved the, hold on, I forgot the link. Astro, Spotify, I think I have it here. This is how, yeah, cross-document twinning, correct. This is how they achieve these animation here. Essentially, they probably have some kind of wrapper element here, and it's identifying it to be the background. So when they navigate to the next page, the browser knows that it just needs to scale it up to match the new background, like that. Look at that. Isn't it cool? Now, I think that to do these when there are lists, see how here there are lists? Now, obviously, this will be hard-coded probably. Let me just scan this because I want to make sure. But I'm pretty sure, yes, this will be hard-coded. Because remember that we need every single element on the page to be unique, right? So essentially, this means that this image has a specific view transition, this image has a specific view transition name, this image again, same, this image the same, this image the same. So in this particular case, because they wanted to demonstrate that this can be done without JavaScript, they just hard-coded every single name of the view transitions, right? And we can see it here. If we check this, so you can see data transition, scope, blah, 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 and this has a specific transition name. Everything has a unique transition name, okay? But we don't want to do this because actually we want to work in Webflow, right? And in Webflow, we've got things like CMS. Nope, Verat, I'm afraid that you cannot use the CSS variable. At least I've tried it and I did not succeed. And that's one of the downsides. It doesn't work with CSS variables. You cannot you cannot say something like view transition name and then use a variable here. This is not possible. Okay. So here, you could technically use a style attribute. You're not wrong, actually. We could deal with a style attribute. Okay, I'm going to do one thing. Let's do the hard-coded way, like Virat is saying, because actually I think it's a good idea. But then I still have about 25 minutes. I want to show you how we can use some JavaScript to enhance the way that we implement things. Okay, so essentially, I'm just giving you a quick hint. When we are dealing with view transitions, look at this, how cool it is. There are ways of customizing cross-view transitions with two new events that happen on the page, which is the page swap and the page reveal. We'll talk about this. But essentially, these events allow you to modify the outgoing page and the incoming page before making the transition. So technically, with JavaScript, you can go ahead and inject the view transition names for the dynamic elements, so you don't have to be worrying about hard coding things. Okay, that's important. But let's just attempt what Xatom is saying, just for shits and giggles. Let's try to do plain text custom style, just for the sake of testing this. Oops, I think I didn't save it. Hold on. Custom, and this is some text. Nice, save collection. And just to put you in context, the way that the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to create a cool animation that when I click on one of these elements, it navigates to the new page. But as you can see, there is this image on the new page. So I essentially want the small image to whoop, scale up, fit the incoming page. But we need every single element on this page to have a unique view transition name. And obviously, I cannot do this. I cannot come here and say, oh, okay, I'm going to say view transition. And it's going to be author image. Like, this is not going to work because every single item here will have the same view transition name. Okay, so this doesn't work. Let's get rid of it. Let's go back to the CMS collection. And let's start doing this just for testing. Custom style. Let's do view transition name. Transition name. And this has to be, let's use this log like that. Yeah, I think that we can use this log. Let's try it. I'm going to try just for these Jessica Miller so we don't spend a lot of time because I haven't tried it. Look at that. Jessica Miller. It's a man. It's a black man. So let's come to the settings and let's add a custom attribute that's going to be style. And of course, it's reserved. Oh. It was a cool idea, Virat, but I think it's not going to work because it's a reserved name. So I think that we'll have to go with the JavaScript option. Okay, so stay with me. Let's attempt to do. I'll just leave it here. Let's do the animation with the JavaScript. So then we also see the JavaScript API altogether. And actually, they have an example here. We're just going to attempt to do the same thing. As you can see here, they are already building this. They just when navigating, the image scales to fit the page. Okay, so we need to listen for these events, the page swap and the page reveal, and we need to inject the view transition name to the image of the outgoing element and the incoming element. You can add custom element and use style attribute. Oh, you guys are smarter than me. You're right. Let's try it out. I promise we'll deal with we'll do the JavaScript bit. Stay with me. Okay, image. Let's do the source, and the source is going to be the picture. Can we do it? Come on. Of course, it's not going to let me. Nope. So we'll have to also grab the image link. Come on, guys, give me more ideas. How can I inject in a custom element the image link? I will probably have to upload it in a document file. Give me ideas. I'm waiting for you. Name bio, embed. Okay. Let's do embed then. Can I inject the field in the embed? Nope. Oh yeah, picture. Look at that. Wrap the image inside a custom element. That's not going to work. Because we need the image to be the one that has the view transition, not the element. But Veras is right. Let's do an image. And this image, the source is going to be the picture. They're right. Yes. And the class, what's the class of this? Author item image. So let's do this. And then let's do style. And inside the style, we'll do the custom style here. Okay. Let's see if we did it right. Oh, no. Hold on. I need to make these properly fit. So I need to have that image. Let me go back 1 second. I need these images to be 6 RAM and 6 RAM, which it is. Huh. Why is it not fitting? Yeah, technically I don't need the custom style field now. You're right. I could just use just use this. You're right. I could do view, transition, name, and then in here I could add the slug, for example, right? Let's do, the slug for now. Or we could do image underscore slug so we can do it better. But now I'm dealing with my shitty design skills. And it's that it's not taking the 6 RAM. Why? Okay, done. That's it, fixed. Great. Okay, so if we did it right, then we've got this style view transition name equals to this. Now I'm going to go to, don't worry, that's it, it's fixed now. I'm going to go to the template page here. And this image, again, I want this to be an embed. And this will be author image, I think. Nice. Great. I think that should make the trick. Let me just publish and we'll scan just to make sure that things are as expected. So 1 second. Okay, nice. So we've got, as you can see here, if I scan this image, we've got view transition name, image, Jessica Miller. And if I go to the other one, it's going to be view transition name, image, Jennifer Brown. Nice. And then there's one too. So if we did it right, just cross fingers because I haven't tried that. Hey, look at that. Look at that. Yay. Obviously, we've got this awful transition right now. So let me just disable it. Disable. No, but wait, no, I'm not going to disable it. I'm going to talk about customizing the type. Because you actually can create new types. So remember that here we did this. We've got these navigation equals to auto, right? And then we have these that it's applying to the root, right? One thing that gives you even more control is that you can define a type, and this type can be different for each page, right? So this type, what's going to allow me to do is target specific, just encapsulate the animations that we're doing. Because imagine that maybe one page, you always want that page to come from the right and go back to the right. No, actually, so you want one page to always come from the right, and you always want another page to always come from the left, or you want one page to not animate, etc. Right? The way that you can do it is by passing types. So this view transition, I'm going to move it away from, just to demonstrate this, I'm going to move it away from the global custom code, save, and then I'm going to go to these pages, and I'm going to add it to each one of these. Okay, so I'm going to come here in the home, and I'm going to do, you probably can override it actually, but just for the sake of organizing things so you know it, I think how this is called, types. So this types is going to be, let's do main, like that, okay? And I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to do it also for the about, like that. But then on the list, I want this to be a different type. So I want this to be types list, whatever, okay? Let me get rid of that custom code. And in here, I also want this to be types list, not main, sorry, list. This means now that instead of having these animations targeting the whole root for all the pages, I can specify, okay, I want this animation that it's moving one page from one side and pushing the other one to the other side. I want this to only apply when the page type is main. So if you come here, let's see this. We can wrap this. I'm just gonna do it like that. We can wrap this here. One second. And instead of doing forwards and backwards, I want this to be main. Okay, this is the types that we defined. And we can move this a bit like that. And now this transition, it's only going to apply to the main, the pages that have the type main. Hopefully. I think that I explained it correctly. So if we try it again, nice. Now you can see how we no longer have these moving from one side to another, but if we go back to the home page, we should still see it. We don't. Okay, something is missing here. Active view transition type. Oh, we need to do nesting. So, yep, we need to do nesting. My bad. 1 second. Custom code. So this is a nesting CSS. So we need to add the ampersand here. Like that. So if we did it right, let's try it now. So essentially we're mimicking this. Now, okay, nice. So you can see how this is working for about and home. Nice. But if we go to the lists, now this is not doing the transition because we just encapsulated that moving from right to the left animation to the home page and the about pages. Okay, does this make sense? Let me know, guys, because I feel that I didn't do a good job explaining it. Just let me know. Okay, well, I'm seeing a lot of people excited here in the comments. Nice, love it. Okay, so I've got 10 minutes. Let's talk about the custom JavaScript. Nice. Just for the sake of understanding this, 1 second, let me try to find this example here. So there are new events, the page swap and the page reveal events. And these events allow us, as I mentioned, to customize the page before leaving the page and running the new page. So if you go back to here, remember that the browser takes a screenshot of the old page and then take a screenshot of the new page, and then it comes in, okay? These events, the page swap and the page reveal, happen. The page swap is going to happen here for the old page. And the event will happen right before the browser takes a screenshot of the old page. So if in this event, I modify the page, like for example, I grab an element, I modify an element to inject some view transition name or to do whatever, then when the browser takes the screenshot, it will take the screenshot with the modifications that I did under this event, okay? And same happens here. Before the browser takes a screenshot, what was it called? Page reveal. Before the browser takes a screenshot of the incoming page, it will fire this page reveal event, and this page reveal will give us access to the incoming page. It's essentially the same as Barba.js, actually. I think that Barba nailed the way that it worked. And we can modify the page before the browser makes the transition. So we can also inject the view transition names in here. And here's a good example. Here's an example of maintaining the last click, because maybe you want to maintain state between the old page and the new page. How can we do something with it? Let me try to think about maintaining the state. Now I know how to make my Figma prototype become reality. Oh, nice. Love it. You're getting already ideas. So let's just see this example. Yeah, here. So this is the example that I was mentioning, which we built hard coding things with embeds. But instead of using embeds, like we did here, we could potentially just use JavaScript, okay? And the way that they are doing it here is by doing this. They first, on the old page, they listen for the page swap, which remember that it's the event that happens before the browser takes the old page screenshot. And in here, what they do is they see the target URL, where this is going. So it knows, okay, I know that we are going to the Ram or Aram Argyle page. So now I know that I need to inject to the outgoing element and the incoming element a specific view transition name, so they match like that. So essentially, it grabs the profile. I think that it just does some, it uses IDs. We don't see the HTML, but probably each one of these images has an ID, which is, it's a bit redundant, because if you're injecting IDs, you can technically also inject the view transition name, but still, maybe you can come up with some other use cases. But essentially, it identifies the element that was clicked, so it knows, okay, this image is the one that matches the incoming page. So I'm going to update the view transition name of both things. So then, the animation happens by the browser, if that makes sense. And the new page happens, it does the same, like that. I don't know if it does anything else. Yeah, set temporary view transition names. Yeah. And also with the JavaScript API, you can wait until things happen. So for example, here, there's this view transition property that comes in the event. So essentially, when we're listening for these events, this event will contain some information. It will contain information about the activation of what was activated when navigating. And then also it will include information about the view transition that it's happening. And this view transition also has some promises, like when the transition happened, etc. So we've got a lot of control, actually, to determine what we do with it. Yeah, we can also inject the types. We can see the type of the transition. Essentially, everything that we defined here with custom code, all of this can be also done with JavaScript. So if you want to go, because I only have 4 minutes, so I'm not going to get in the weeds of this, but you can go ahead and play around with the JavaScript API because I think it's cool. Arcadius, imagine Interactions 3.0 on pure CSS with page transitions and on scroll events. That is nice. Yeah. I think that in the future, we should see something like that from Webflow. I mean, it's the natural evolution, right? You just, instead of using heavy libraries to do a job, you just let the browser do it for you. Like anything that people, browsers, things can do for you, it's better than having to implement it yourself, right? So technically, my page A JavaScript still has its memory. Yes, until it's offloaded. So if you want to maintain memory across pages, then you need to use things like session storage. Here's an example. So here, this example, they want to store the last click event, and it's not specific to the view transitions. It just uses session storage. Just keep in mind that the moment that the new page comes, your JavaScript code will not know about it. It will just, it's a new page. It's essentially like navigating natively, but there is some animation that is happening. But the scope, the context, the memory, it's completely offloaded when the old page is destroyed and the new page is completely fresh. Does that make sense, Berat? The question is now, when is this coming to Firefox and Safari? Let's see. Browser support, Chrome, Edge, no Firefox, no Safari. Let's check the source. And there is no source. Oh, that's a pity. Is it in, can I use? And rule view transition. It's only in Chrome for now. Let's see here. Not supported, not supported. Do we have anything? It's not even documented in Mozilla, so this is highly this is highly experimental. But the good thing is that if you don't use the JavaScript API, remember that the JavaScript API relies on specific properties that the browser is exposing to you. And JavaScript can crash if something is not available in the browser. But CSS, on the other hand, it will essentially just... Actually, let's make the test. Do I have Firefox? I don't, but I have Safari. Gabe, can I share my full screen? 1 second. How can I do it? Oh, hold on, because I'm only sharing. Can you stop sharing my screen for a second? I'm gonna switch to share my entire screen. Like that. You should see an infinite me now. Hey, nice. Okay, so if I go to Safari and use this, it will simply just load the page as is. So the nice thing is that, yeah, technically, if you just use CSS, technically it's progressive enhancement. Yes, because it will just not do anything. It will just, do the regular navigation. If I go to the list, it will just navigate without animating anything, which is cool. Like nothing breaks, But if we go back to Chrome, in Chrome, obviously it does work. So guys, just go ahead and have fun with it. I think that it's you're good to go. Unless you plan to use the JavaScript API. If you plan to use the JavaScript API, then I recommend that you add some checks. So essentially that you check for the browser API to exist before executing any code, because otherwise you're running the chance of breaking things. Okay. Hello and behold, client is not working. Yeah, of course, the client if you build this for a client, it's always going to test it with a different browser. It's always going to say this doesn't work. I don't think this will ever run because of event listener. Yes, but I wouldn't risk it. I would still check every single property that you're trying to access just in case, because maybe another browser releases this, but it releases it partially. Like maybe the event is there, but the event object is not fully complete. I don't know. Just test that it exists until there's full support. Okay, I think we're done. I thought that it would be a quick live stream, but here, right on the clock, 4 p.m. my time. Nice. Okay. Well, just gonna say thank you everyone for attending. I think that this was a cool live stream, something that you guys can have a lot of fun with it. And please, 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 if you build cool shit with this, just tag me on Twitter. I want to see it. I want to see the cool things that you're building. Okay. I appreciate that. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice weekend. Goodbye, all.